new day begins. In my heart, a grateful song for all you've done, my kin. My dearest sister, kind and true.
Okay, good day, Mama.
Good morning.
Nice meeting you.
Good to meet you too.
And welcome to Nigeria.
I'm very happy to be in Nigeria.
Is this your first time of coming to Nigeria?
Yeah, this is my first time ever to come to Nigeria.
Wow.
Very exciting land with warm people.
Wow.
Very happy. I feel to be home.
How long have you spent in Nigeria now?
Oh, it's been a week, but it sounds like a month because of the many activities my sisters are doing.
I know.
Yeah, I'm very happy to see all the good work.
Good. So, may we officially meet you now, Ma'am?
Thank you. My name is Mary Muia. I am the Soroptimist International Africa Federation President for the current biennium 2025 to 2026. I am Kenyan and I come from the club of Nairobi Central in Kenya.
So in a nutshell, can you just give us what Soroptimist is all about?
This is a global organization for volunteer women members who provide services back to the community on voluntary basis. It was initiated in 1921 in Oakland, California, and over 100 years, the movement has grown to be a global voice for women in over 122 countries globally. But here in Africa, the Africa Federation was chartered in 2020, and it has over 100 clubs with about 2,000 members currently.
Wow, so they just finished International Women's Day celebration. So how was it done over there? What activities did you display during the International Women's Day celebration, both in Kenya as African representative?
The International Women's Day 2025 was full of action. We were reflecting on the post-Beijing action since it happened 25 years ago. And we are looking at the theme for this year, inclusion and stepping forward to have women take charge in leadership. In Kenya and in Africa, Soroptimists were not left behind to commemorate the International Women's Day. Many clubs came out to go and impact action in their various ways. In Kenya, we were able to have the Kenya clubs, all the 14 clubs came together in a quarterly meeting. We call it the Council of Delegates meeting. And we were able to launch a union project of elimination of cervical cancer in Kenya and be at the forefront to really agitate for government and the civil society organization to create awareness about screening for cervical cancer and accessing the HPV vaccine by young girls so that we can eliminate cervical cancer. The Soroptimist International objective or theme is educate, enable, and empower. And drawing from that theme, the overarching theme, all clubs in Africa conduct activities in the area of education. Clubs promote access of education for all vulnerable girls and women, and also boys and men, in supporting them to get scholarships or even to be able to attend subsidized classes where cost is a hindrance. We know that there's a lot of poverty in Africa, but we also know that there are other barriers that make girls and women not attend or access education. For example, practices like child marriages, teenage pregnancies, all these are some of the areas the Soroptimist clubs work to eliminate these barriers for girls to access education. Besides education, clubs are also able to do a lot of empowerment work for sustainable environment and climate action. A club like SI Lagos here, yesterday I visited their school program. They have activities mentoring young people, children with special needs, and they also build water tanks so that those children can be able to have clean water and sanitation. So water and sanitation is the other theme. We do have the other theme of gender equality, and in this particular one that ties with the International Women's Day theme is to promote equality, and equality is to make sure that both men and women, boys and girls, have got equal opportunities in all spheres of life. Good work, they all access employment, they access education, they access health and other services. So we work hand in hand with local governments to ensure that services are availed to the vulnerable communities, both in rural settings, but also in the cities. The major cities like Nigeria, like Lagos and Nairobi, have a lot of informal settlements. Many families don't have these services, and the Soroptimist clubs in these towns are able to make it better for such families. The other thing that is very close to our heart as a Soroptimist is bringing peace to the world. Conflict resolution and just ensuring that we promote peace and we support any groups that are affected by war or disasters is important to us. So you will marginalized groups. So you will find clubs working to support groups that have been affected by floods or drought, or even just conflict, local or global or cross-border conflicts that may affect any country globally.
So with those beautiful progress you've actually made, do you have any challenges you have been facing since you assumed responsibility as the Federation President?
There are barriers, there are challenges because clubs have got members who are volunteers.
Okay.
These volunteer professional women, some of them are in work, they are working, others are retired, others are young women Soroptimists that don't have resources to be club members.
Okay.
So maintaining their membership is a challenge, but they work hard to really ensure that they are members. The other challenge that exists is the normal lack of resources to increase the actions that they have. So you could find a club has one project only in one school in a whole state. Maybe if they had more resources or more partnerships with the private sector or philanthropists, they would be able to scale up the actions that they have. So yes, resources are not enough. We are looking at some policies that are not as progressive to make the environment of promoting our objectives valid. Yeah.
What extent of collaboration have you been able to make, especially from other organizations and the government angle? Because this, you can't do it in isolation.
Thank you very much. In terms of partnerships and collaboration, Soroptimists worldwide work in collaboration with others, with like-minded organizations. We have ECOSOC accreditation status, meaning that we have a seat at the United Nations on all the United Nations areas in the world. So we collaborate hand in hand with member states so that we can work locally to promote international laws, but also domesticate them nationally to our regions. For example, now here in Nigeria, the clubs in Nigeria work hand in hand with government, private sector, but also other civil society organizations, so that then our impact can be bigger, can be greater, because alone we cannot have greater reach like we would love to, and results.
Okay, what are we expecting from you for Nigerian women?
Oh, this is my first ever visit to Nigeria.
Yeah.
And the reason that's why I've traveled here is that as my biennium as president commences in the first quarter of my term,
Okay.
I said I want to connect with the Soroptimists in Nigeria. My sisters have got very many presence of their work. They have over 20 clubs in different states.
Okay.
And this club and other clubs have continued to grow. So my
What
presence...
extent of empowerment would the Soroptimists give to Nigerian women going forward?
My presence here is to inspire and to strengthen their action. We want to make more clubs in different states, so because the more the merrier. And also, as we have clubs working from one region to the other, that collaboration efforts will make the communities to feel the impact of Soroptimists in Nigeria. So it will be important to gather more results through many more members, and also to scaling up best practices of many projects that are legacy, that are already self-sustaining, that have visited in the last few days I've been here.
What are your advice for
aspiring female leaders
in Africa?
This is so close to my heart. In my day-to-day work, I work to empower adolescent girls and young women in Africa. And this is especially the vulnerable and the most marginalized girls that I talked about. And no wonder I saw it wise to become a Soroptimist. So for young Soroptimist women in the current Africa Federation Board, we have established a young Soroptimist committee that will be supported by the board to scale up and to help young women to take leadership roles, to strengthen their leadership skills so that they can be able to give back to society. They will be mentored by the existing clubs so that they can become strong, and that there will be no leadership gap. When the older members take a step back to rest, the young ones will be already in leadership. Okay. So this is very close to my heart, but also to the Soroptimist International objective.
Okay, so if you had advised the area government should focus more in empowering women in Africa, what will it be?
In terms of impact for women and young women and women in general, governments should provide opportunities on the table for all departments, for all sectors. Women leadership makes a big impact. Whenever we have women on the table and girls on the table, they bring out issues and how they affect them. And so if governments will embrace being inclusive, to have more women, more young Soroptimists or young women on the leadership table, this will be able to actually bring a lot of change. The third woman president in Namibia and others. So many governments could take a cue in that and increase the leadership positions in government sectors for women.